morning, everyone. Welcome, everybody, to Data DIY number 4. Here we are again. The final workshop and workbook accompanying it in our inaugural year of this kind of programming of Data DIY, and it's specifically your involvement in driving understanding, discovery, and treatments for rare disease. I'm Christian Rubio, Vice President of Strategic Advancement, and your host for the day and the program director for this series. Welcome back and to this workshop entitled Becoming a Data-Centric Community. In this final installment of the series, we revisit key concepts from our prior workshops and workbooks that organize this growing army of advocates, as Dr. David Feigenbaum has called us, around deploying data-centric research, collaborations, fundraising, and engagement strategies to accelerate progress among our families. Before we go any further, I'd like to acknowledge and thank the sole supporters of Data DIY, the Chan Zuckerberg Initiative. Led on their team by Tanya Simoncelli and Heidi Bjornson-Pinnell, I'd like to personally thank them for their support. They've provided generous funding, of course, to make this pivotal series a reality, but this has also led to over 800 patient advocates learning from our great mentors along the way, both in person and online. But what folks behind the scenes also know is that they've been there all along as passionate thought partners who want to see a new reality where patients are treated as true partners in basic and translational science that will ultimately lead to treatments and cures for many rare diseases. Together with your team, we've made friends, shared insights and challenges, identified opportunities to help our communities come together and move forward towards cures along the way. Now, looking back a little bit on the series where we've been over the course of this, we began with Data DIY number 1, the whys and hows of data collection, where we learned the building blocks of data collection and where it lives, who it belongs to, you and your patients, of course, and who values it and why. We learned that we've also learned a little bit about how to take control of it and how to achieve greater understanding through research in rare disease when we can. A useful set of exercises to assess your readiness to embark on a meaningful data collection project is in Workbook 1. And equally important, these fundamentals are laid out and further explained in workshop slides and presentations that accompany that workbook. It's all available online. In Data DIY number 2, Data Trusts, Governance, and Collection Platforms, we explored the ethics and management best practices of data collection. We detailed the steps of engaging patient data, including the notion that a good user experience isn't just a smart move to keep the data flowing. It's good ethics when interacting with patients and caregivers who are taking the time and effort to participate. And we detailed the rights of patients as data creators and owners, and your ethical and managerial obligations as you embark on collection projects and become a steward of other people's data. From explaining the basics of governance and informed consent to choosing the right data platforms, we provide strategic planning exercises and planning tools to help you move ahead. Workshop and workbook number 3, Collaborative Research Networks, represents a turn in the series towards an organized, tested strategy or methodology that's been found to accelerate research and clinical consensus on guidelines, standards of care, and other fundamental needs that help drive research funding and interest in a rare disease. And most of it can be led or done in partnership with a savvy, focused patient organization. The on-demand live stream of the day featured many of our pioneers who've helped drive breakthroughs and consistent research support for their diseases without sacrificing patient access to and ownership of their data. We shifted the direction and operating models dominant in life sciences research. Today, in Data DIY number 4, we take that next leap, or deep dive as it were. We've covered the big why of patient collaboration. We've explored how it's supposed to look when we're following an order of operations that pulls a larger stakeholder community together. In Data DIY 4, we'll get into what this collaboration looks like, what strategic decisions need to be made, and what to expect from others, and what you are ready to do yourselves. We'll also explore different operating and funding models like venture philanthropy to accelerate this work. And we'll introduce some analytical tools to understand better where you are in your maturity and where your next good steps are in a collaborative environment. this agenda, not so easy to read if you're in the room, sorry about that, but it's right in front of you as well. It kicks off with a morning explaining some really important models and approaches to collaboration. David Spencer, representing the Biopontis Alliance, will kick us off with a discussion of how we can protect our efforts from falling into a chasm between basic translational and industry-sponsored research. The tools in the appendix of the workbook will be actively used in that session, so please have that at the ready. Equally important, and right after, Michael Hund from EB Research Partnership and Ryan Jankaitis from Amazon Web Services will join us for a two-part session on venture philanthropy and consortium building and what collaboration and customer obsession can produce when partnering with a great tech company. And of course, there will be Q&A as always. So we invite everybody joining us online and our audience members in-house with equal access to ask our mentors questions directly. So you can go to datadiy4.cnf.io to ask your question or upvote other questions along the way. There will also be polling questions, so it'll be up to each individual presentation to introduce them. So getting started here. Workshop 4 is an accompaniment to the material covered in the workbook. So as I said this morning, we'll have exercises from your appendix that follow with David and some how-to strategic decision-making and effective collaboration discussions as well.